Simply put, today we're going to be looking at Transformer Studio Series 76 Thrust. Though I'm not planning to use him as Thrust, he will still be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you coming by. I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, your most humble of hosts. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, man. Light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell. It helps me out a ton and lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all my social media links. All of that in the description down below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And this is Studio Series 76 Thrust from the Bumblebee movie. I didn't know what to think of this mold because I'd seen it for Starscream, and I skipped it there because I just didn't need it. I just didn't need another Starscream. It's really as simple as that. And I saw it and I thought, that's weird. And then I saw this guy announced and I said to myself, you know what? With the greens and the grays, I think I might see a Liege Maximo here. And here's why. There are going to, I'm sure, be many uses of this mold. I have no doubt. I just want to grab something, if I can here. Yeah, there we go. I have no doubt that there are going to be many, many uses of this mold. However, I'm not planning to get them because they're not really my seekers per se. I only wanted one, this one. And because it is a seeker body type, and for me it's going to be a unique seeker body type in my collection, I think it could work as the Liege Maximo. I do have to do some work, but how does he kind of fare just as a Transformer? How does he fare as a Bumblebee movie Thrust? Well, we're going to head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And yes, indeed, here we have Studio Series 76 Thrust. This is the Bumblebee movie version of Thrust. I intend to use him with some custom work as the Liege Maximo. But of course, before we look at him, we have to look at the packaging first. And we've got us some kind of typical Studio Series packaging. Here we have Thrust. Here on the side, a close-up of his head. Over here, a nice larger image of him. Sorry, the light was reflecting there. And on the back, of course, we have the product images inside. And here we have the scene that is apparently Cybertron Falls is what they're calling it. And you can take our lad here and, you know, stand him right there. No problemo. We have two of these. I guess they're supposed to be null rays, but everywhere I put them on, it's pretty precarious, to be honest with you. And then we have this other big blaster, I think molded green and maybe painted with gunmetal gray. I think it might also work as a stabilizer in plane mode. And it looks like there's a hole here maybe for a flight stand. In robot mode, they're I say and to his accessories because they don't tend to stay tabbed in the best. Like I have this in his hand and it's okay, but it doesn't take a lot for it to come out because of the shape of the hand. Then these here, again, they tab in using a 5mm peg, all right, but it doesn't take a lot to pop them off. And if you want, you could use the rectangular tab, and you really do this for plane mode, but you could, I mean, you can just leave them in there if you want. Again, it's a bit precarious. So I'm going to take them up, like, they're not going to fall out like on a shelf or something, but if you nudge it, they're not that hard to come out. I feel like they could have benefited from the pegs being just a little bit longer. I said I was going to use this guy as my version of the Liege Maximo. He's going to need some work, but I could easily believe that this body type could be the thing that inspires the other body types. I buy it. Honestly, I buy it. I don't have the Studio Series Starscream. I'm not getting any more of the Studio Series Seekers. They're not my Seekers. You know, from that one Bumblebee movie, they're just not my Seekers. So this will be a unique version of the Seekers for me, and I could see it being the thing that inspires the Siege and the Earthrise body type. If you believe that the primes are a lineage, like the, you know, Megatronus is the Megatron type with the big fusion cannon, or like Megastorm, right? You know, they are part of the Megatronus lineage. If you believe that, you know, Nexus is the first archetype for the Combiners lineage, well, it is well known that the devious trickster, known as the liar, if you will, known as the Liege Maximo, is the archetype for the Seeker. So I wanted something that was Seeker-ish without being just another Seeker. A lot of people have used this mold or the Sparkless Seeker as a custom Liege Maximo, and it works. To me, that just looks like another Seeker. I get it though. I totally understand why somebody would use it, and it looks great. The Last Night Megatron is a very popular mold to use as the Liege Maximo. For me, I wanted a Seeker that's not like my other Seekers, and this fits the bill very nicely. Okay, now I'll point this out. A lot of people will say, hey, they want the wings up like this, and that's fine. You can do that, no problem. The Blitzwing is a different mold from this as well. It's not the same. This one doesn't like to stay up on mine. So that's kind of why I don't do this, because that's kind of loose on mine. Nevertheless, like, yeah, that looks very Seeker-ish. He even has a remolded piece behind his head because he's a cone head, right? This looks pretty good to me, honestly. I'm going to say it's a solid 9 in terms of the looks. What about the articulation for the guy? The head, unlike the Starscream, is much more limited because of this piece in behind. A little wiggle left, a little wiggle right, some up, not really much down. The wings, they can go forward a bit, of course, or they can go, you know, if you want them all the way back, you can get them all the way back. These pieces, you know, already move. But the arm can go all the way around when you get it out of the way. Out, bicep swivel, really super deep elbow. The hand can flip down like that for transformation. No rotation, no fingers. This piece is supposed to tab in, but I would leave it untabbed so that you get to, I'm going to bring those kind of out again. So you get to make use of the waist that's there. If it's tabbed in, you kind of lose the waist. Sort of like Galvatron, you know, when you peg those treads into his bicep, he loses a bicep swivel, so why would you do that? Legs all the way forward. Back, yeah, fair enough, I guess, considering all the junk that's back there. All the way out to the side. Thigh swivel. And you can see that in here, those mushroom pegs, it's all filled in. I really do like that. Nice, big, robust mushroom peg in there. Knee to, for sure, 90 degrees. Nothing really forward and back at the foot. A little wiggle, but a deep foot, I don't know, rotation, bend, whatever you want to call it. Ankle tilt. There you go. There you go. Ankle tilt. I knew I'd get it eventually. I dig it, honestly. I'm going to say, again, a solid 9. So far, a 9 and a 9. The only thing I wish we had was wrists. I really, really, really wish we had wrists, and I find that to be a bummer, man. The nice thing about using this mold as a Liege Maximo is I'm going to have to put some horns and whatnot and do a bit of work here with the head. But there's plenty of room for it. I don't need to worry about kind of, you know, hiding the head away. That was one of my concerns with using something like the Siege mold, is, well, what if I knocked off a horn because of the way the head sort of tucks away? Here, that doesn't happen. So, though the Liege Maximo didn't actually have an alt mode, I can give him an alt mode. And again, a unique, weird-looking Cybertronian plain alt mode. So I dig that. This here, we can just actually take that up for now. We're going to fold in the hands here for now. And I'm going to make sure I got these unpegged. They are a nuisance and a bear to unpeg. Very, very uncomfortable, honestly, because they peg in super tight. But this makes me nervous. See how this one came out? This one needs to do the same thing, but it's really, really tight. Really, maybe arguably a little bit too tight. And we have that down. Then we can push these in. We already flipped the wrists in. And we should be able to kind of I can get this out of the way here now. Kind of move that back a little bit. We'll move these legs sort of forward to be able to open up the torso. And we will next split these pieces. By the way, this little piece here is what the stabilizer goes on. I didn't show it, and there's a little like rectangular squarish nub here that can poke out the back. So if you want to store this on the back via this little square here, you can do it. It comes up right behind here on this section, but I mean none of this moves in articulation anyway, so it really doesn't affect anything. So it can sort of store on his back. So we'll open those out, we'll bring out, and I just pop that right off. I'll have to pop it back on, it's just friction. We're going to bring out the nose cone there as well. And you can kind of see how the front of this is going to go. I need to pop this piece on and then we'll keep going. Pardon the little cut, but I wanted to make sure that this was tabbed into that the nose cone was tabbed into the cockpit section, and mine is a little bit tight. Once we have that done, we can tab these two back together and push this up. This whole section here should fold down around just like that. We can open out the wing section and turn it down like that. Open out the wing section and turn it down like that. We'll just get those wings sort of kinda out of the way for now. Now we need to deal with the lower legs. As I was unfurling the legs, I realized, you know, I'm not sure how I want to kind of show this to you, so I sort of set myself up for success to be able to show you the best way that I know how. We have a rectangular slot there and we have a tab here on this inner part of the leg, I guess. It's this inner side. So we take the leg and turn it there, and then we rotate this up, and then we flip this down. And we put the foot up and in. There's a lot of movement going on there, and then this piece will come down. It will end up locking in on the other side. So again, we have the green slot in there, the rectangular tab on the inside of the leg up here by the knee. We turn the leg. We bring this piece up all the way, fold that down, fold this over. Now it's just a matter of kind of tabbing the legs together and tabbing them in behind the cockpit section here, and then pushing them down into those slots. Oh, I gotta put that foot in as well. Pushing them down into those slots so that it all kind of tabs together. I'm just gonna do that because it's just tabbing and stuff now. It's not a big deal. And it's just a little bit easier if I'm not trying to kind of reach in over the table to do it. Okay, with the legs tabbed together, we now bring that piece down and we can fold this in, and we can fold that shoulder in as well. Turn at the bicep, bring that down, bring that arm down. These arms kind of sort of go together here. And once we have all of that done, now all we really need to do is attach his blasters and whatnot. This is the stabilizer on the bottom. We have a big rectangular peg hole there and two smaller ones there that attach to this peg, and then these two small ones on the elbows. And here we go with the stabilizer on the bottom, and I put the two little blasters under his wings using the rectangular tab. There's a little rectangular slot there that I showed you earlier. I may have made the transformation look more complicated than it is, and it is complicated, but it is also kind of smart in the way it's done. Once you know the order of events and the movements, it's not bad. It's engineered quite well. It takes one or two times to kind of get used to it, but it's a lot harder to show it because of the way you're twisting the legs around and whatnot, or at least I found it harder to show it. I'm going to say the transformation is, honestly, I'm going to say it's 10. I think it's really well done, and this is a very interesting sort of tetrajet mode. The wings can go up like this, or they can go, of course, very more traditional tetrajetish, like right down on the sides. It depends on what you like. So we had the look being a 9, we had the articulation being, I'm going to say a 9, wrist would be nice. Transformation of 10, this is a tremendous mold. Really well done overall. I'm going to say it's a 9.5. It's not going to be for everybody, but man, oh man, in terms of being like a Transformers offering, in terms of what you get, this is actually really well done. And here we are once again, and here he is. Okay, so, kind of where do I begin here? The look of the guy is great. I mean, it looks like Thrust from the film. They gave him the little cone head homage. It's pretty cool. I feel like that this is more of an homage to Armada Thrust than anything because of the green. And by that, I mean the Thrust that appears in the Bumblebee movie, I feel like is an homage to Armada Thrust because, of course, G1 Thrust doesn't look like this guy. I love the articulation. I thought it was going to be far more hindered than it is, and it's really not. It's really good. By the way, I had mentioned how you can put his blaster back here. That's how it looks. It kind of sticks off, but I mean, you could, I guess. Maybe you can't angle it up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can't angle it up. Maybe it's... Is it? Like, I mean, you could have it down sort of like that, or you could angle it up more so it's touching the back of this, which doesn't move anyway. It's an option. It's somewhere to store it other than his hand. So the articulation is great. The look is great. For me, down to like the kind of like point here and the layout mostly of the green and the grays. I do have to do a little work on the head and a few other bits and pieces, but I kind of see the bones of a Liege Maximo in here for me. The transformation is kind of brilliant. There's a lot that unfurls and folds and tabs in again, but it's kind of brilliant. I like how this is the real cockpit. This piece is not, but I love how this is the real cockpit. The way the legs unfurl at the bottom is kind of terrific without the legs really having to move. This whole backpack section sort of folds down. A little nuisance getting it past the legs, but that's the minorest of gripes. Tremendous, really well done mold. It's not going to be for everyone because they're going to say that doesn't look like a Seeker to me or my sensibilities of a Seeker, but if you're just looking for a cool Transformer, something fun, something that is involved enough to be interesting but quick and easy enough to be fun and satisfying in both modes, then I think that this guy might fill the bill. I think he is fun. I think it's a great mold. Let me know what you think about Thrust, or Starscream for that matter, since they are essentially the same mold. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button, man, right here on YouTube to become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.